Now, I don't know about you, maybe not you, hopefully not you, but many of us got drenched during the trucking bloodbath of 2023. So I'm going to share with you 5 lessons that I learned from the beatdown that will save you time, money, and a lot of heartache. So let's jump right into it. Lesson number 1, there will always be sunshine, there will always be rain. We must accept the good with the bad. Ups come with downs, business come with downturns. The question is, how prepared are you for the downturn? How do you prepare for the downturn? I think it's about asking yourself the question as a business owner, how much cash do I have access to? Why? Because cash helps you to weather the storm. Like nothing else. If you have cash, you can get yourself to the other side most times. If you don't, you have a problem on your hand, a bigger problem than you think. Lesson number 2, diversification is not just a buzzword, you must master it. You see, there'll be times where freight is readily available and plentiful, and there'll be times where freight is not as available, and you have to know how to navigate both of those scenarios. When freight is readily available, yes, I need to move as much freight as I can possibly move, but I also need to be targeting the most profitable freight because I know what's coming around the corner. Freight unavailability. And when that happens, I need to make sure that I have a diversified customer base so I can move different types of freight. You see, you might just be moving dry van freight right now. You got a good customer, you're getting a lot of freight from them, but when it slows down, can you jump over into some reefer freight? Can you jump over into some flatbed freight? Diversify your customer base so when the slowdown comes, you have some different customers that you can go to and get available freight. Lesson number 3, know when to say when. And I know what they tell you, keep your head down, keep going to work, keep doing what you're doing. And that could be the right thing to do. But after some time, you have to assess that situation and decide whether or not what you're doing is working like it used to work. Because it may mean that you need to pivot. And when it's time to pivot and you never pivot, what you find yourself doing is just prolonging the pain. So you need to be able to recognize when it's time for you to do things different in order to get a different result. For example, if you're approaching a customer a certain way and you've been getting a certain result from that and now it's not working as well, well, it's obviously time to try something different. Don't get stuck in your ways because they've worked before, because now it may be time for you to evolve, to do something a little bit different so that you can keep getting the good results that you've been getting. Lesson number 4, reevaluate any employees that you've hired and anything that you pay for on a regular basis. It's necessary to reevaluate the people that you've hired. You have to ask yourself the question from time to time, what does this person bring to the table? What value do they bring to the table? How do we benefit as a company from this person being on board? And if you cannot answer that question definitively, it's probably time to disconnect, to cut ties with that person and move in a different direction, because you could just be paying that person a salary and it's not really doing a whole lot for your company. Also, anything that you're paying for on a regular basis, software systems, you need to reevaluate those systems. See if you still need them, if they're still serving your best interests as a company. If they are, then maybe it's something that you'll keep around. If not, certainly you want to get rid of those systems and replace them with better systems. Or maybe you don't need that system. You're just spending money on something now that you really don't need. Always, always, always reevaluate, reassess these situations so that you can make the best decision that best benefits the company. At the end of the day, it's about always looking out for the best interests of the company. And sometimes you have to cut a few people to make sure that your boat stays afloat. We're not going to sacrifice the entire company for 1 or 2 people. We have to save the company, and sometimes that means cutting costs when necessary. So always do your reevaluations. Lesson number 5, one day your boat will no longer float. And when your boat is no longer floating, the question that you have to ask yourself is, what did you get for the time that you put into the business? Let's say that you put 10 years into the business and now it's time for you to exit. What do you take with you? How I look at it, if I don't take at least $50,000 a year in cash and tax sheltered accounts, which will equal up to $500,000 in a 10-year period, if I don't at least have that, the business underachieved. The question for you is what that number is for you, and work hard toward achieving it, because then you'll have something to measure your efforts by, right? I put in X amount of effort and this is what came from that effort. Tangible. How much money have you not made? How much have you kept? How much does the business have today when you're no longer a business? When you close the doors, how much do you walk away with? That's what's important in my opinion, because some people will walk away with nothing after a whole lot of work and effort put into a business. Don't let that be you. That's what I wanted to share with you today. Certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you want to learn more about the freight broker business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's a link to my 5-video series titled How the Load Movement Process Works. Gives you a chance to come into the office with me and watch me on video as I move loads from point A to point B and talk to shippers and carriers to give you a better understanding of how the business works before you come into it. And also, if you're interested in going out and getting your load board today, I'm going to leave you a free link in the description that gives you 1 month free subscription with what I believe is the best load board in the business. TRUCKSTOP. I've been using it now for the last 8 years. Highly recommend it to you. Hit the description box and get the free link for your 1 month free. Until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.